Welcome to the Cashflow Ninja, the podcast sharing how to create and grow income streams and manage, multiply, and protect your wealth in the new economy. Are you tired of trading your time for money? Do you desire freedom today instead of retirement in 10, 20, or 30 years? I'm MC Laubscher, and this is the Cashflow Ninja. This is Cashflow Ninja. My name is MC Laubscher. Thank you so much for joining us in another episode of Cashflow Ninja. I've got a fantastic episode for you today with a fantastic guest, Albert Preciado. I've got a great story. I actually met him briefly. This is several years ago now. It's almost 4 years ago. Time flies when you're having fun. And he was on a path at that stage. I could just sense just meeting him briefly and seeing him that weekend, that he was on to a lot of great and big things, and it certainly has come true. Albert, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice for having me.
Yeah, I'm very excited to chat with you today. For our listeners and viewers that's not familiar with you and what you do, can you please share a little bit about your background and journey with them?
Well, I'm a Mexican. My first language was Spanish, and I grew up in Echo Park. It's a poor area. You know, there used to be a lot of drug dealing, shootings there. And my parents came to the U.S. when they were in their early 30s. They wanted a better future. And I grew, even though I was born here, my first language was Spanish. So you could imagine, I don't want to make a long story. I don't want to make it too long. I want to make it short. But I grew up and I mean, I was discriminated. I was called wetback. I was told, go back to Mexico. You're never going to be anybody. And then I went on to middle school, and people would make fun of my accent. I couldn't get girls. I had puberty. And so I was so like, my confidence was so low. I was so insecure. And then I get to high school, horrible grades. I would do whatever it takes to not go to school. Like I would create sick days, like mom, like I'm sick, my stomach hurts, I have fever. I would do whatever it took to not go to school. So I had a 1.8 GPA. I barely got a diploma because they mailed it to me. I couldn't be on stage because I was so bad. And I went on to college, dropped out of college, and I was just a mess. And I grew up my whole childhood and early adulthood with my mom telling me, look, this friend you grew up with graduated, degree. This friend, another degree. And it was like degree. Well, all those people now are, you know, some people are not doing so well. Some people are in jail. And I started one business, 2 businesses, 3, 4 businesses, and now we're starting 2 new businesses. I built 12 flows of income, and I have my wife and my 2 daughters. One of them, I named her after a Ferrari because that was my dream car. But I mean, long story short, none of this would have happened if I would not have started investing in real estate. So I started small. I started with a 3-unit property, and then my wife, I got her, I had her get a 4-unit, and that was the start of building wealth and building our businesses together. But in a short little paragraph, that's my life.
Yeah, and one of the things that I love about your story too is this is something that it's been this has really taken off like the last 10 years. You know, if you do things, and maybe you can touch on that too, because I think that sometimes people are down in the dumps, and I say, listen, if you start doing things correctly and move in the right direction, even at a slower speed, instead of sprinting in the wrong direction, and turn your life around, it's incredible what you can do in 5 years and in 10 years. I mean, you can get the results in your business and in real estate investing that takes people 30 to 40 years. You could do it in 5 to 10 years, and you're living proof of it.
Yeah. Well, the best advice I can give everybody is the power of mentor, the power of getting the mentor and getting the right information and upgrade your shadows. We're talking about this before camera, but you got to upgrade your shadows. And what I mean by shadow is the best way of learning is one-on-one. So when I started going to seminars, the first person I studied was Tony Robbins.
Yep.
And I started Tony Robbins, and then I said, well, you got to study the past. And I know that Tony Robbins also had a mentor, so I went back and I started studying Tony Robbins' mentor. And then I moved on, and then I ended up reading the book, Grant's book, and I ended up going to a seminar. And I was just there sitting in the back, and then I moved to the front. And then I said, how can I get in front of this guy and get mentored one-on-one? So I got mentored one-on-one, And then I started getting mentored. Well, he taught me sales and real estate investing, but I love entrepreneurship. Like I want to have a business. Patrick Bet-David just built his business. It's growing so rapidly, and Patrick Bet-David is closer to my age, and it's a closer industry. It's very similar. It's a boring business, and it's highly regulated. He does insurances. I do mortgages. Let me study Patrick. I want to learn his systems. I want to learn his operations. And then I said, well, there's two ingredients that I need: training and marketing. Marketing is big. So let me pay Ty Lopez to pick his brain and market the way he does, because it works. I'm going to make mortgages fun. I'm going to make them exciting. Let me study training. How do I train my people? Because I want to build I don't want to be a small Goliath. I want to be a big Goliath. What's a big Goliath? Somebody that built a multi-billion-dollar company like Ray Dalio. I don't know if you've read the book Principles, Ray Dalio.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So that's thinking massive, I think. Like when you see Ray Dalio worth 18 billion, like how do you get there? What's going to happen when we have 1,000 agents, 10,000 agents nationwide? How do you train all these people? You can't train them one-on-one. So then I brought in Brad Lee. Brad Lee taught a lot and helped Grant scale. Let me pay Brad, make him my friend, and learn everything I can for training. We got Patrick with systems, we got Ty for marketing, and we got Grant for sales. And let's invest in real estate with the money that we're making. So all of those components, the information is what led for me growing faster and not making so many mistakes.
Yeah. And it shortcutted. I mean, you just looked at what you needed and you brought together the expertise of the masters in their space in every single little part and bring it in together. And it's so true. And, you know, for folks that listening out there, it started with going to a live event with Tony Robbins, reading books, studying, and eventually as you're growing into it, now you got to try and find a way to get close to the folks that you want to be mentored by and do that, which you've done very, very impressively by, again, getting out of your comfort zone and doing big things. The Driven event, which there's a lot of videos that folks and viewers and listeners can look at online on YouTube, where there's a ton of content from that. There is an event that you put on, but that was also, I mean, if you don't mind sharing the goals with that, bringing all these people together and taking on massive risk, being bold because it cost you money, and taking that leap, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of these events cost us over $1 million, and it was risky to put out. And the reason why I came up with Driven was because after the 10X2 in Miami, in the Diplomat, I came back and I said, I got to do something like this. So I told my wife, Sil, we got to do this. We got to do a 10X, but it's going to be our own 10X. What are we going to do? What are we going to call it? And I said, let me think about it. I went into the shower and I started showering and I put Patrick Bet-David. I was listening to a Patrick Bet-David while I was showering. And then he kept on saying, drive. And he was talking about drive. And then I came out of the shower and I told my wife, hey babe, we're going to call it drive. And she's like, drive? It doesn't sound good. It's like, because, you know, my wife, she's always trying to challenge me, and I have these great ideas, and then she'll tell me, like, she'll challenge me. So now I kind of don't tell her what I'm going to do. I just kind of do it. But she always pushes me, which is a good thing. So I told her, okay, well, drive. Okay, well, I added a letter, Driven. So we made it Driven. We made it happen. And then I said, Driven. Nobody knows who I am. I have no audience. Like I always wanted to speak on stage. I wanted to speak on for a Todd Duncan. He has a stage for mortgage training. It never happened. He told me I would, and it never happened. So it didn't happen. Then I always wanted to speak at the 10X. It didn't happen either. So then I said, I'm just going to create my own stage and I'm going to speak on my own stage. So let's make it happen. But my audience isn't there, right? So I said, well, how can I bring people? Let me hire Grant and pay Grant and make it happen. So I didn't have much money back then because I had money stuck on a 1031 exchange that I was doing for real estate. But I did have 50 G's. And me, I put everything on the line. So I said, I'm going to give Grant 25 deposit to speak. And I'm going to get my other 25 and I'm going to give it to the Ritz as a deposit to book the place. I did that. And I said, well, now I got to create the money. So let's make some sales and I'll create the money to keep funding the event. I did that. And then Driven 1 happened, became a total success. Ever since Driven 1, all our companies have been growing. Like we're running on our 12 straight quarter of growth in our company. 12 straight quarter. That's a lot of times. That's a lot of years.
Yep.
And all that because of Driven, because Driven is my megaphone. Driven is what gives me the mic where people hear me, and now they listen to me. Before, nobody listened to me, but now people listen to me. So that's made me more powerful in recruiting and growing my other companies, which made it a triangle. So the mortgage guys, Ambiance, and now Driven flows traffic there. And now we're creating companies inside that triangle to make this triangle worth billions of dollars. So that's our company vision. And that's where we stand right now. I just have so much energy that I just don't believe I ever get tired.
No, you most certainly don't. And that's a great lesson for everyone that, for listeners and viewers out there, is to pick a platform and build your platform in a specific area. That megaphone can be different and has been different for folks in many different areas, but it's very, very important to have one because that could fuel all of your other businesses and direct a lot of attention towards the businesses that you already have, right?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of our folks, we've been talking about this quite a bit, is what I see with Cashflow ninjas such as yourself is they have their income flows.
Investors, don't sleep on this market and trends. Did you know that in many cities across the U.S., renters now outnumber owners? And demand will only increase. More and more will be renting in droves, and it's putting the squeeze on a tight rental market. Four Peaks Capital Partners has been successfully investing in this proven, recession-resistant sector for years, providing investors with passive income and capital appreciation. Protect your portfolio and invest in private real estate funds because the demand for affordable housing will only increase. Invest with Four Peaks and let us do all the work. Find out more by calling 8775-INCOME. That's 8775-INCOME. Or visit privateincomeinvesting.com. That's privateincomeinvesting.com.
They build their businesses that generate the cash, and eventually that money is positioned and then multiplied through real estate investing, a very, very big part of it, or investing in other businesses and so forth. So let's go back to, because at one stage you were very successful as a mortgage broker, and then there was sort of a wall that you kind of hit. And then I think this is an area where a lot of folks are stuck, where they get to a certain income level, and it's different for all. Let's just say it's 300,000 or 500,000 in your business there. But then there's certain things that need to happen to go from there to take it to the next level and then on to the next level. What are some of the stuff that the steps that happened there that got you to breaking through that, I guess, invisible ceiling, if you will, at that point where your growth kind of like stagnated?
Well, I mean, the time I noticed that I wasn't doing something right was in 2008 when the market crashed. So when the mortgage meltdown happened, the recession in 2008, I lost everything. And I think every powerful, successful individual has a big ego. I got a big ego. I could tell you have a big ego. Grant, Patrick, Ed Milet, all these people have big egos, which is a good thing because you need one to be successful. But you have to know how to control it. So in 2008, before that, prior to that, I thought I was the king of the world. I was partying, women, drugs, alcohol, and that's what destroyed me. And I had a game plan. I had the same drive. I was the same Albert, but just young. And I didn't have all the information. I didn't have the experience, but I had a game plan. I had $200,000. I was making my first year in the mortgage industry. I made $260K. So I had $200K that I had to, because I bought a house and I was gonna build, and this house was gonna go. I bought it for 600. It was gonna be worth 1.6. So I was gonna make about 800,000 net, and I had the game plan, the money, the plans, and then my life I dedicated it to the wrong things. Like I said, booze, women, all that stuff. 2008 comes and times get tough, and I spent the whole 200,000. So I had nothing. So I ended up homeless, only rescued my Ford Explorer, my phone, and my laptop. I just had those three things. And the most important one, my now wife, who was my girlfriend at the time still, who slept in that Ford Explorer for 2 months with me. So we were homeless and we lived in the Ford Explorer. So people are like, oh, you're homeless, you're that. But we would just park in neighborhoods, sleep, and continue. Like mornings we would wake up, We were so broke, we would sneak into the gyms, take showers, work out, because we always want to have that energy. We're into working out and fitness.
Yep.
Then we would come out, Starbucks, make some calls, and work from the laptop, because I was so embarrassed to go back to my parents and be a failure and tell them, you were right. I didn't make it in real estate. It was hard. Yeah, you told me not to do it. So I didn't want to do that. So that's why I fought for my Ford Explorer. And slowly, every year I started getting better, because I went back to what got me started, self-improvement, getting a mentor. So every year I improved, and I upgraded my information every year.
Yeah. And the immigrant mentality, I think, comes into play. Maybe you want to speak to that too. I'm originally from South Africa, so
Yeah.
I have a little bit of that in me too. What advantage does it give you in such an amazing place such as the United States?
Well, you know what? I saw my parents, like I saw my dad. So my dad, I always saw him struggling. He would always come back from home like hunched back. He couldn't walk right. He was defeated. He was tired, and he created extra energy to play with me, because I was 6 years old. I was a little kid, and I would wonder, what does he do? Like, why does he have red marks on his white outfit? Like, does he go? I thought he was like a superhero killing bad people, and that was like just blood and all that. So I was 6 years old. I told Dad, no, I don't believe you. Like, I don't believe you that you paint. Take me with you. So one day he takes me, and he used to paint homes in Beverly Hills. I get there and I see this red, beautiful Ferrari and this mansion in Bel Air. And I don't know what Bel Air is. I don't know what a Ferrari is, but there's one thing about exotic cars that kids recognize. It's like when you see a hot chick, you're like, she's hot. Like, you can't help yourself. You're like, you'll see her. But kids, they see those exotics, Lambo, Ferrari, they know what that is. They like the noise. They like the cars. It gets their attention. So I asked my dad, how come we don't have this car, and how come we don't live here? Look, it's all green. It's beautiful, fresh air. Why do we live where we live, which is not that nice? And my dad told me, like, son, this is not for us. And that's where I started thinking, like, why? Why does he get home tired all the time? Why do we live here? Why is there shootings? Why are we ducking? Why is there bullets coming through our window? Like, why is this going on? This is not. So I didn't think it was cool. So then my dad told me, son, if you never quit and you outwork everybody and you work your ass off, you're gonna be somebody great. And maybe then you'll be able to live here and you'll be able to drive that car. And I said, Dad, I promise I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna work really hard, and I'm gonna make sure that I give everything back to you and help you and buy your house that they weren't ever able to get because they didn't qualify, and it was just a struggle from the beginning. And I told my dad, I promise you I'm gonna be very successful, and I'm gonna help all of us. I'm gonna help the people, and I'm gonna be somebody great one day. And that's how it all started. It gave me that drive to never quit.
And then, so bearing that in mind, and then turning your life around and you started to grow, and you started to realize that you need other people to help build the business with you to really take this to the next level, and going from, a great salesperson and develop into a business person. As you mentioned, you have to upgrade your knowledge, right? Your information that you consume. Talk to me a little bit about that process, because I think that would be very valuable for a lot of folks, because there are a lot of solopreneurs out there. There are maybe some folks out there in small businesses with smaller teams, and now they're starting to take the next steps to kind of grow. What was involved in that process?
Well, in order to grow a company big, you need people. And people are going to be liabilities or assets. And some people and you have to go through a lot of people to grow. And then being in business is like the army. Like, you're going to be a hero and you're going to help a lot of people, the masses. However, it's one of the most dangerous decisions you'll make. Like, you go to the army, you could die. You go to war, and when you become an entrepreneur and you start hiring people and growing your business, you could die. Like, it's really you get a lot of pressure. Like I always talk about this. I battled like the heart attacks, and in the nights I couldn't sleep because I was about to go out of business 100 times at least. And my wife, I didn't want to tell her that because she was pregnant, and I didn't want to tell her that. I didn't want to worry her. So I would keep all that pain and I would fight. And I just would remember, I can't let my dad down. I can't let my wife down. We're going to have a little girl. I have to keep fighting. And some days I would wake up at 12:30 in the morning and just get to work. What am I gonna do today? How am I gonna come up with this money? How am I gonna pay payroll? How am I gonna make it work? What am I gonna do? Who am I gonna call? I need some money. I need some sales. I need to survive. I'm not a quitter. I'm not gonna fail. And I would figure it out. And until today, I've never found a problem or encountered a problem that I couldn't solve. And as you grow, as you get more information, as you get more help, you become a better recruiter. You become a better trainer. You become a better leader. You become a better CEO. And you start learning so many more things. Like, I didn't know what an operations manual was. I didn't know what systems were. I didn't track stuff. There were so many things. And then I learned all that stuff. And finally, the last 3 months, I've been having so much fun doing what I do. I've been having so much fun waking up at 2 a.m. I've been having so much fun thinking about my next innovative campaign. What am I going to do next to disrupt my industry? What am I going to do? And I'm just having so much fun. I just had a baby daughter. She's 7 months. And I have my 3.5-year-old. Her name's Italia. And the other one's Berlin. But I've never had as much fun as I am right now. Like, I'm playing a game and I'm having so much fun working 18 hours, seeing great results. And I think that's life. Like, I love being in the office. I love working. I love staying productive.
CAMAPLAN is one of the leaders for personalized tax-deferred and tax-free IRA planning. CAMAPLAN's team can assist you to take control of your retirement funds and financial future through self-directed investing. They offer support to clients throughout the entire process, from opening your first account to making your first purchase to self-managing your assets. CAMAPLAN works with a growing network of investment providers in all asset categories and offer free investor education through classes, events, and webinars with over 15 years of leadership in self-directed retirement investing. CAMAPLAN will help you unlock a convenient and safe way to manage your retirement investments and discover financial freedom beyond traditional investments, beyond Wall Street, and go from forever taxed to never taxed. Start to take control over your retirement funds and financial future today by visiting cashflowninja.com/CAMAPLAN.
And you guys do a lot of virtual stuff too, right? Which has helped during the pandemic that we were in this year.
Yeah, I mean, I copied what works. I saw that those BTs work. I saw, well, Brad he has a really good system. And I saw, like, Grant's having a lot of success with his 10X University. Yep. I said, I'm going to do my Driven Academy. So I did my Driven Academy, and that turned from Driven event. Well, first of all, I was Driven Conference, but then I said, I want to make it an event. I want to make it fun. Yep. What do the other events don't have? They don't have a bar. I'm going to put in the bar. I'm going to put in a show. I'm going to put lighting. I'm going to make music, DJ. I'm going to make it fun. Like everything, I want to make it fun. I want to make it innovative. Yep. So I changed it to Driven event. Then I said, well, I saw the boot camp is working. So let's do a Driven boot camp. I created a Driven boot camp. Then I said, well, coaching, why not do Driven coaching? So now I did Driven coaching. Then I said, wait a minute, I'm missing the academy, the university. Let's do a Driven academy. So out of one idea came 2, 3, 4, 5 ideas. And then those are 5 extra flows of income. And they've been working really good, because I'll tell you what, an influencer is going to attract a certain crowd. But what I've gotten is a lot of people have converted, and they've told me, Albert, I relate more to you because I am Hispanic and I'm a millennial. So from Hispanic and millennial, like, I have more in common with you than the other person. So I want to pick you. I want you to be my mentor, Albert. So that's been happening a lot, and I've been running with it. If 80%, if your niche are millennials, Latinos, men, why not focus to your niche? And then whoever comes from anybody else that comes, they're going to come, but focus on your niche. Spend all your marketing dollars on your niche. So I double, triple down on that. And we just been scaling. 80% of all our audience, mortgage guys, Ambiance Realty, Driven, 80% are Latino millennials. and men, even though now the women are starting to grow, which is great.
That's awesome. And a big lesson here too is it's all symbiotic flows. You didn't start with one flow, recreated the wheel and went into a completely different industry and then try to create a second flow. These are all ancillary and symbiotic, and all contributes what you're doing in other areas, right?
Yeah. But let me tell you something really important, and I want everybody to know. I started small with real estate. And I think like the difference that I do is I want to teach people how do they do it. Like I want to tell you watching this, I want you to do it. I don't want to take your money. I want to give you the information so that you could go out there and do it like I did it. I bought 3 units and I financed FHA. That's only 3.5% down. That's nothing. Then I told my wife, you got to buy 4 units before we get married, because if we get married, we only qualify for 1 FHA loan. So you get your 4-unit FHA. I have a 3-unit FHA, 3.5% for you, 3.5% for me. So that's 7% down for 7 units. I got those units, and in 5 years, I sold those, and we made over $700,000 in 5 years. At the same time, we were working on our business. So real estate created that much money for us. And not only that, we started getting more properties, more small units, like 4 units, 3 units, 4 units, 3 units. We accumulated enough, sold most of them in 5 years, and made over $2 million. $2 million cash. We used that in emergencies when our businesses were failing, when we were getting lawsuits, when we were making mistakes, when we were losing millions. I sold those properties, and thanks to that real estate, I survived, and now we're thriving. And it all started with those real estate properties that I bought, little 3 units, little 4 units. And I like to teach people, the average people, people that are making 60 grand a year, 50,000 a year. You qualify, even minimum wage. Like, get a co-signer. You could buy your first 4 unit, keep it for 5 years, and make $500,000 in 5 years or less. And then that money you could later invest in and get a bigger multi-unit. So everything starts, with a little bit. But I feel that anybody, no matter where you come from, no matter how much money you have, you should get your first property as a small 4 unit and go FHA 3.5%. Because that's what worked for me. So I'm just talking based on my experience.
Yep, absolutely. A couple of things I want to point out here too. So you have your business, which is your main driver, the mortgage guys. They're operating virtual. So this is just good to put into context of the environment that we're in, because people are like, well, what's working right now? What's going to work in this new changing world? Well, people are going to need mortgages. They're doing it virtual, and that's a big cash generator. Then Albert was sharing that they have digital products, which they've built. Yes, they have live events, which is great, but he also took that online through the software that's available with Brad and his company. So, and he's been a previous guest on the show too. So now they take that online. Now now all of a sudden you can scale that globally. Anywhere in the world can sign up, access their courses, consume their content through those digital products. So you have was it Warren Buffett that said you have to if you don't figure out how to make money when you sleep, you're going to work until you're dead, right? So they've got money coming in through these products, through the business, and now this money is then going into real estate, which is what you just shared, how to get started, and you got started smaller. But that's the part that really, really grows it. Because maybe you can speak to this, what it does to the mentality and the mindset of a business owner. When you've got money coming in, let's just say through leveraged income and quote unquote passive income assets, such as real estate, that covers your living expenses. It covers a lot more than that. You're financially free on that. You've got a completely different mindset in your business, right? That scarcity has now gone away because you have all this money coming in, independent of your business.
Yeah, you become dangerous. You become really, really dangerous. And I always believed I want to become successful when I'm young. I don't want to wait till I'm old and not be able to play with my kids. Like my little girls, like I want to be young, successful. I want to play hard right now, but I also want to work hard. But it's not only working hard, it's working long, because everybody works hard. Idiots work hard, but they just learn the wrong data and then they become idiots. But if you work hard, you also got to be smart. You got to work smart and long. and you're gonna create more with that time, because people confuse being busy with being effective, being like getting results done. So everything started with the mortgage guy, but I got a mentor, and he told me, Albert, the mortgage guy is not scalable. The mortgage guy is like a $10 million company. You add an S, make it the mortgage guys, it becomes a $1 billion company. Think big. And this was Patrick. And then I said, yeah. And I kind of like, we were arguing a little bit. And I said, I went back. And then after 3 months, I'm like, we're going to add the S. One more letter, just like driven, drive, driven, mortgage guy, the mortgage guys. And now I started working it. People were joining the company because they wanted to be part of a company they could belong to, a company that could be theirs. And I started creating golden handcuffs, like equity. Does your company give you equity? I'm the only owner, so I could give equity to some of my leaders so that they stay forever and they don't learn and leave. So a lot of those things are like they're another topic, but I started creating all that stuff that I was learning from my mentors. And then I created real estate because it feeds mortgages. Then the driven event, and like I said, that's a cash flow driven boot camp, cash flow driven coaching, cash flow driven academy, cash flow, real estate apartments, cash flow, YouTube a little bit, but it's cash flow, credit repair, cash flow, processing is another different cash flow. We're opening up another company, which is going to be our 12th cash flow. So when you're receiving all these little gems from every corner, it makes you want to take more risks to grow faster and to grow more, and you become really dangerous.
Yeah. Absolutely. And start with one, like you just mentioned, you started with one, and then they're symbiotic, they get added and added on. And I think the big takeaway here too, during this time where a lot of folks are looking to change up what they're doing and change up their game, try and figure out what you want to focus on first. If it's sales, marketing, if it's building systems and processes, if it's becoming a better leader in your organization, because all of them, there's some great folks that you can follow, but then you can specifically pick them. And I love the word that you used to is changing the shadows that you're chasing, right? And the way that you kind of phrase it with Bobby Castro, which I know you're following right now, and he's a mentor of yours, just sold his company for what, $1 billion? $1
billion. $1 billion.
So there's a couple of things that you can learn from that. So absolutely do that. So mentorship's been big. You're always studying and learning and growing. What are you currently studying right now, and what are you learning?
Well, right now I'm studying a few things, but I'll tell you the two important ones. One is taxes. Like I want to know how not to pay taxes. Now that I'm making over 10 million this year, we're gonna probably hit 20 million in revenue. I don't want to pay taxes. So I've been studying taxes. I've been studying heavily the mortgage industry, real estate industry, because I want everything. I want to work on compliance, because that's one thing that could put your business out.
We are living through unprecedented times, and many experts say that in the coming months and years, we're about to see some of the best real estate opportunities of our lifetime. Who's going to benefit the most from these opportunities? Those with access to capital, which is where the Real Estate Accelerator comes in. Brought to you by Good Egg Investments, the Real Estate Accelerator is an online course and mastermind that will give you everything you need to raise private capital for real estate syndications. Through building a killer brand that attracts the right investors, you'll be able to take advantage of the upcoming opportunities and scale your business. To learn more, check out cashflowninja.com/goodegg.
So all those two things I'm really, really studying. I want to know everything about mortgages, about real estate and taxes. Another thing is that I think that, at least for me, I'm going to start buying a property a month. And of course, if I don't find a good one, I'm not going to get it. But I plan on buying a property a month. And I'm talking about big properties starting December. I think December, the entire 2021 year, I think I'm going to get deals for a bargain, and I'm loading on cash and credit lines that I'm going to go out there and get a bunch of these properties at the right time, because I buy when they're low and I sell when they're high. And I'm going to continue to do that because it's worked for me so far. So I'm really excited about all that. But one thing that I want to also leave everybody with before I leave is courage. Courage is really important. You need some big balls because most people don't. And all of this everything that I've created, like I said, I was close to going out of business at least 100 times. I couldn't sleep. Sometimes I felt like I was going to get a heart attack. I was at the gym working out, and I would see the trainers like kind of floating in the air, and I was losing breath. And I had to run out and kind of like get myself together, because I had so much stuff in my head, so much pressure, but I didn't want my family to be affected. I wanted to fight for them. And all of that starts with courage. When I bought my first 3 unit that changed my life, I had $3,000 in my bank account. I had a 560 FICO score and $80,000 in collections. But I said, I'll open escrow, I'll close the agent, convince him. He's a listing agent. I'll go straight to the listing agent, double-ended listing agent. And I was thinking to myself, I'm going to close this guy. I'll get an extension or 2 or 3. I ended up getting 3 extensions, 90-something day escrow, closed it, and that alone property made me $460,000 in 5 years and a half. So all of this happened because while I got extensions, I was working on my credit, getting it higher, saving the rest of the down payment, and I made it happen. When I created Driven One, I did not have the money. I made it happen. I committed. And that's where it all starts. If you don't have balls, then you don't belong in business.
Yeah. And the challenges are going to be much, much bigger in this new economy that we're in right now, but so is the opportunities. So you're going to have to play a bigger game in this new world, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I'm so excited, by the way. Like I feel that people that have the information and have some liquidity right now, this is going to be the best time. This is going to be your time where you just make the most money ever. The most money ever. Like right now, there's a lot of scared people out there. There's a lot of people that are they don't know what to do. Like I know what to do. Like I'm really excited. Like I'm super excited. You know, COVID 3x our revenue, and right now we're at 5x in revenue. So it helped us because of social media and marketing. And most of the companies in my industry, almost all of them, they don't have any social media presence. So it affected them. And I see, like I walk out there, all these retail spaces, they're out of business. They're for lease. And so it's just people that didn't adapt, people that didn't have, like you said, multiple flows of income. They relied on 1 or 2 incomes. They're dead. But people that have all these flows, they survive. So it's really important for you to start building other flows.
Yep. Absolutely. And focusing on the right things, right? Instead of arguing online and social media and posting something that confirms your biased view. You're focusing on, this is an opportunity because everybody's getting sucked into negativity and stories and so forth. And I could use social media, not just consume it, and brother, get after it.
Check this out, brother. Somebody in my building, okay, jumped off yesterday off the 27th floor, committed suicide. This is one of the most, this is the biggest building, most expensive, most luxury, where all celebrities, athletes live. I live there. It's 40 floors. I live on the 36. Somebody from the 27th jumped off and landed right on where the valet picks up the cars. And I'm like, what the hell what was he thinking? And and this guy was worth 600 million. And the reason why I say this is because it happened yesterday and it's fresh on my mind. But I'm thinking like, man, first off, I'm like, dude, like, don't be selfish. What if you fall on top of somebody and kill them? What if you fall on top of a little girl and she sees that? Even worse, you fall on top of her and you take her life too. It's ridiculous. It's insane. But I start thinking about, like, why did he do that? Why does this happen? And it's the mindset. You said it right now, mindset. It all starts with the mindset. And what I do every day for 5 hours, I wake up at 3 a.m. From 3 to 8, I do 3 things. First of all, I do self-improvement. I work out, really important, and I check my finances. I track them. Are they growing or are they staying the same? I want to make sure that every day they're growing. So I do those 3 things: self-improvement, workout, and finances. And that gets my mindset fixed, because sometimes I wake up like everybody else. I don't feel like waking up. I don't feel like getting up. I'm tired. It's 2, it's 3. And I convince myself and I force myself, hey, you have no choice. Look at your little daughters right there. Look at your wife, the company. You have over 300 people you employ. get the fuck up and go work. And working out gets the blood flow and the muscles. I start learning something new, and it gets me on that right mindset. But when people don't do that, no wonder they get stressed. They're inside the home. They can't go out because of COVID. They don't do any self-improvement. And the mindset just gets messed up. They replace production with alcohol, drugs, and no wonder they're going to jump off a building or whatever. So I just think everybody should make sure when you wake up, do something that's going to spike your energy, that's going to put you in that positive mindset so that you could go out there and battle, because every day is going to be a different battle.
Absolutely, my friend. Now, a core message in our show is to leave our families, communities, and the world better than we found it by passing down a mindset, values, and principles to future generations, not just money. So if you cannot pass on any money to future generations, and we're only allowed to pass on 3 principles to them to build wealth and achieve happiness and success, what would they be?
Easy. Work ethics. You need ethics. Without ethics, you're nothing. Okay? You need work ethic, and you need to have the right attitude. No matter how you feel, you need the right attitude. You got to treat everybody with respect. So those are my 3 things.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your journey and your knowledge and providing so much value for my listeners and my viewers. Where can folks learn more about you? Where can they follow you? And where can they stay informed of all the many projects that you're involved with and all of the events?
My favorite one is Instagram. They could go to Instagram at the Albert Preciado. I answer all my DMs, all my comments. But the easiest is they could just Google my name, Albert Preciado. You'll find everything about me if you Google my name.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Albert. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. This has been another episode of Cashflow Ninja. Check out all of our previous episodes where we feature all of the other Cashflow Ninjas, such as Albert, on the show at cashflowninja.com. And as always, my friends, live infinitely.
Thank you.
Awesome.
This presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. The information being presented and considered does not consider your particular financial objectives or situation, and it does not make personalized recommendations. This material is not intended to replace the advice of a qualified tax and legal advisor or other qualified professionals, and you should not use the information in place of a customized consultation with a licensed professional regarding your specific personal financial objectives, situation, and needs. We believe the information provided is reliable, but we do not guarantee its accuracy.